All right, so Dana White's coming out. He actually said this other night. He said that Khabib should not. The rumor out was that the commission is gonna hold his $2 million payday. It's $2,040,000 for Khabib. Dana White said the commission wants to keep all of the money. So I think that's a huge difference from them holding the check, with him saying that the commission wants to keep the $2 million. I think that's fucking extreme. I don't know if I ever heard of something like that before. I don't know if he misspoke there, but I would just say, like, holy shit. So Dana White said, I believe that Khabib should be fined $250,000 and he should be suspended 4 to 6 months. I think to say a suspension for 4 to 6 months, I think that's laughable. I think that's literally a game. Khabib fights once a year sometime. So to say 4 to 6 months, that's just like saying, well, he's just going to take his usual amount of time off. If you're going to suspend him, you have to suspend him for a minimum of a year. And if you're trying to make it impact him for making a bad decision, you have to at least suspend him for a year and a half, because we know that Khabib's not an active fighter. We know he's not the most active fighter in the world. So, suspending him for 6 months, he's like, dude, cool. I got to go home and chill and fucking just do my thing. And now I'm going to go back into training camp and then get another fight. The thing is, if they suspend him for 6 months, I don't think that Dana White would strip him. If they suspend him for 1 year, he's gonna be stripped for sure. If they suspend him for a year and a half, they would strip him for sure. I'm gonna stand by what I'm saying right now. If you want this to be a true slap on the wrist, if you want to make a true statement here without going overboard and keeping a $2 million payday, you got to keep in mind, we could say, oh, $2 million is a lot of money, but you got to keep in mind he's riding Conor McGregor's gravy train, so he is eligible for pay-per-view points. So he's gonna get some of Conor's pay-per-view points. So let's not act like the $2 million is highway robbery. But what I will say is, if you're gonna suspend him for 6 months, that's not even a punishment for him. If you're gonna suspend him for a year, that's not even truly a punishment, because he always takes an extended amount of time off. If you were to suspend him for a year and a half, I would say that's a year and a half guaranteed that's going to be removed from his prime. I don't know how old Khabib is. I'm not quite sure. It's not something that I care to Google. I don't care how old he really is, to be honest with you, but it's just going to add on to my argument that if you're going to suspend him for a year and a half, you are taking a year and a half out of his prime. That's number one. Number two, you're taking his belt away. That's number two. And then if you fine them even $250,000, that's still a lump sum. You know what I mean? That's a lot of fucking money. That's 1/8, right? Yeah, that's about 1/8 of the guaranteed show up money. So that's a lot of money, but $250,000 is not excessive. If they were to keep $500,000, that's a lot of money. But you have to keep in mind, Khabib said he does not care about money. He doesn't need the money. He just wants the belt. So, like I said, you have to take the belt from him, meaning you have to suspend him for a minimum of a year and a half to make it really sink in. Like, dude, I can't do that shit again. You fucking suspend him for a year, you do a Conor rematch in a fight and about 2 fights away, the same shit may happen again. Because what if Conor starts something with him this time and then he jumps over the fence? Like, we just never know what's gonna happen. So I think for it to be effective, you have to suspend him for a year and a half. If they're not gonna suspend him for a year and a half, they might as well just let him fucking fight whenever he's ready to fight again, because the 6 months is bullshit. He doesn't even typically fight in 6 months, and if you're gonna suspend him for 1 year, that's not even true. That's not a true punishment either, because he would likely come back in 9, 10, 11 months anyway. So that's pretty much a year. I don't know what else to say, man. Fuck it. It is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments.